The Panthers are the league laughingstock still. And that should infuriate them. There's a Hard Knocks trailer that just dropped for the Giants offseason, right? The Giants, not the Chiefs, okay? Not the 49ers, not a team that has all their ducks in a row. The Giants, okay? And it literally, maybe not super directly, but pretty obviously to me, it was the first thing I heard watching this trailer, calls out the Panthers front office. Because if you remember during this offseason, the Panthers traded their best defensive player, Brian Burns, to the Giants. And of course, that's going to be a part of the Giants behind-the-scene offseason Hard Knocks show. So in the trailer, we haven't even watched the movie yet. We haven't watched the documentary. We just got the trailer. And you hear Joe Shane, the Giants GM, talking to Brian Daboll, the Giants head coach, and he says, what about Brian Burns? Have you looked at Brian Burns? We would have to trade like 2 twos, and then you'd have to pay him $28, $29 million. Did you hear that? 2 twos, 2 second-round picks. Just off the cuff, they're saying we'd probably have to give up 2 second-round picks. But when the trade happened, right, and this is us having 20/20 hindsight, we know how it ends. This is watching a movie based on a true story. We know how it ends. Can't spoil the Titanic, right? You know how it ends. When the trade happened, the Giants didn't give up 2 second-round picks. They gave up a second-round pick, a fifth-round pick, and swapped fifths.
What would that be? I know we always like to say a bag of pucks in a bad hockey trade.
It's a second-round pick and whatever they had lying around the shop.
A bag of footballs?
Yeah, a couple kicking tees. So imagine that. Imagine the Giants were prepared to pay, I'd say significantly more than they ended up paying from the moment they even considered Brian Burns as a trade target. Probably going to have to trade 2 twos. Then when it happens, they don't end up paying that much, so they're obviously swindling someone, right? Everybody has their number, right? Do you know what this is? Do you know what this is? This is the loser moment in a negotiation where you're going back and forth and you're saying, I'll give you $100 for the bicycle. And they go, nah, I can't do it for $100. I'll do it for $150. And you're like, no, I can't do it for more than $120. I'll do it for $120. And they go, all right, why don't you just meet me at $125? And you go, all right, fine, I'll pay $125. And then what do they say immediately? I would have taken $50 for it. And you're like, oh, I overpaid by $75. That's exactly what they're doing, right? Oh, no, we couldn't possibly give you a first rounder. No, we couldn't possibly give you 2 second-round picks. No, we couldn't possibly. And then fine, would you take a second rounder, a fifth, and maybe some future fifth-round pick swap? And they're like, all right, fine, but you're really twisting my arm here. All right, we'll do the deal. And then as soon as the ink dries, they're going on Hard Knocks and saying, we would have given you 2 twos. This is not good. If you're the Panthers, at a certain point, you have to look at how you're being treated by the league, by the media, by everybody, and you have to get mad. At some point, the Panthers have to get mad. Use it as motivation. Say no more. Say they're punking our brand new GM on Hard Knocks. There's a video going around. If you know the show, you know I'm big into the Olympics. Did you see the video of Michael Phelps watching the trash talk?
Yeah, I did.
So I don't even know where the other swimmer's from. There's a women's swimmer from some other country that goes on a rant about just how tired she is of like America winning. She's like, she's at some event and the Americans didn't win, and she's going, I'm just so glad I didn't have to hear the Star Spangled Banner, and I'm just so glad I didn't have to deal with this and that, and just basically makes fun of the Americans for like a minute. And somebody showed it to Michael Phelps, and I know that this was probably recorded like 2 days ago. I feel like Michael Phelps almost drove straight to the trials. Michael Phelps, by the way, who was a great champion, right? He's won a few golds, right? He gets a little excited. He's pretty darn good, right? He has the record for most gold medals in a single Olympics. You could see it in his eyes. He's like, if they keep talking like this, we're going to have to shut them up. And he pretty much says as much, right? And he talks about how he would watch it if he were still swimming, he would watch it every day before he gets in the pool. The Panthers have so much bulletin board material. So much. How many times is it just default, well, the Panthers are bad?
Yeah.
Every conversation that the national media has, if they just need the example, right? If they're like trying to compare the best and the worst, they go Chiefs and then the Panthers. Like that, at a certain point, you got to look yourself in the mirror and say, they're not going to talk about us like this.
That's what I was getting ready to ask you. Is the simple fix just as easy as until the on-field results change, the league will start to take the Panthers organization a little bit more seriously?
It also is a style thing, right? Like, if teams are picking on me, I'm punching them in the mouth, right? I'm running the ball down their throat. Sure, by the way, the Panthers are not going to win a bunch of games this year. They're just not. Hopefully they win exponentially, like 3 times as many as last year, right? Like, let's get to 6 wins, but a 6-win season is still 6-11. They're not going to be the best team in the NFL this year. But you can walk away knowing if you're going to play us, you're not going to make fun of us. You're going to earn that win. You may beat us because you're more talented. You may beat us because your roster construction is better. You may beat us because you've drafted better over the last 10 years. You're not going to beat us and laugh at us as you walk off the field. At some point, you have to get mad. You don't want to be, the NBA draft is going on tonight. First round starting. You can hear it right here on 99.9 The Fan, by the way. Every time a player gets drafted, they're going to play highlights, right? Could be highlights from their European league, highlights from their college league, highlights from wherever they played last year. You don't want to be the team that's on defense in many of these highlights, right? When Kyle Filipowski gets drafted and they go ahead and play some Kyle Filipowski highlights, you don't want, if you're a State or Carolina fan, to have your team on defense during the highlights. That's what's happening to the Panthers here. Their brand new front office is the one getting dunked on in Joe Schoen and the Giants highlight film on Hard Knocks. When they're showing how good of a negotiator Joe Schoen is in the trailer, the GM of the Giants, they're showing him talking about a deal he made with the Carolina Panthers. Get mad about that. Get mad about that. The Panthers, and by the way, it helps that Dave Canales, the new coach, is so all in on smash mouth football. And he went and signed a couple of maulers to play guard. And he wants to run the ball, and he wants to run the ball, and he wants to run the ball, and they want to stop the run. Go out there and make that your identity. Be mad every single game because you're the laughing stock of the league right now.
We want the team. We want other teams in the NFL to fear the logo. We want to bring back the keep pound and say and have it mean something.
And you play the Giants this year. Go give them the business. And there is usually when a team turns around, right, from one of the worst teams in the league to one of the best, there is that year where, like, they maybe don't increase the talent a bunch, but they just change the vibe. That's what this year has to be for the Panthers. You're not making fun of us. You can beat us if you can, right? Like, if you can come out score more points, is it possible to beat us? Yeah. You're not making fun of us. That's what it has to be.